Important point for us to realize, and I've always said this, I say this to everyone, I say this to the government as well. I say this to all the people of our great nation. Remember, every morning you wake up and every morning you go to sleep. Remember, we are on our own. Remember this, people of India, that no country in the world is completely on our side, not even largely or partially on our side. This is the necessary encumbrance and situation resulting from being a growing power in the world and the next superpower. And as we grow, not just in economic scale, from 4 to 15 to 20 to 30 trillion, in military scale, in terms of being a soft power in the world, no nation will be on our side. Russia will not be on our side. Don't fool ourselves with the posters that are being put out by Russia today ahead of Putin's visit to New Delhi. Putin wants to do business with India. Russia is not on our side. America is not on our side. They are dragging the trade talks. They've done everything possible to use every leverage against national interest of India. America is not on our side. And China, I can tell you this in writing, and I know there is a concerted attempt by the government of India to improve the relationship with China. And the government may not like me saying this, but China is not on our side. China is only on China's side, ladies and gentlemen. And this fact, the fact that China has an inherent dislike for India, maybe out of a competitive instinct, maybe out of realizing that Asia's destiny will have to be a shared destiny and not a destiny of one nation. Also realizing that India is no longer a middle-level nation. India is a great nation, ladies and gentlemen. And that all their support for Pakistan could not counterbalance the Indian armed forces during Operation Sindoor. All of this has emerged in the case, which has led to this statement by the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson, who has said that we do not recognize the Arunachal Pradesh illegally set up by India. Why is China taking this kind of an angry position? Why is China trying to aggravate the situation with India? Let me tell you a story. And the protagonist at the heart of this story will be joining me on the debate, a lady called Prema Thongdok. She is a presently UK-based Indian citizen. She holds an Indian passport. She's from Arunachal Pradesh. She was traveling from London, I think, to Japan. And there was a transit through somewhere in China when immigration officials in China flagged her passport as invalid because it listed Arunachal Pradesh as her birthplace. Now, this was absolutely well planned. It is impossible that an individual, an Indian passport holder from Arunachal Pradesh, is held and harassed by immigration authorities who try to browbeat her, saying, "You are Chinese." She says, "No, I am Indian." No, you are Chinese. You should apply for a Chinese passport. Why would the Chinese do that? This has happened, I am sure, under direct instructions from the intelligence agencies of China with an attempt to hold leverage over India. Because their statement, as a result of this, we issued a démarche. Our MEA complained. The lady in question raised the issue on social media. The Ministry of External Affairs got activated. They complained to the Chinese that, "What are you doing? Why are you troubling? Why are you troubling an Indian passport holder?" As a result of that, the Chinese could have been quiet about it. Or even if they didn't like being told off by the Indians, could have left this as an isolated incident. But no, they chose to use the opportunity once again to release this statement that we have not recognized so-called Arunachal Pradesh. Well, let me tell you, Xi Jinping, I don't know the mistakes of all the previous people who've held governments in our country, but we also don't recognize your so-called South Tibet. It is Arunachal Pradesh. And I don't know how clearly our government says it, but let me say this: no international aviation, passport or immigration system has ever recognized or will ever recognize China's claims over Arunachal Pradesh. No global database flags Indian passports with Arunachal Pradesh as invalid. The fact is, China is grappling America. And when Xi met Modi at the SCO in August, Beijing welcomed the international optics. It was convenient for them at that time. Just a couple of months ago, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping met for a bilateral conversation on the sidelines of the SCO, in a symbolic gesture, the Prime Minister had invited Xi Jinping to attend the upcoming BRICS summit in India. But today's statement by the Chinese is completely contradictory to the sentiment that we hoped would be the sentiment that Chinese would reciprocate. China can't claim border peace while humiliating Indian citizens and calling them Chinese. And I am horrified, and you should be too, that the Chinese government has decided at the highest level to humiliate Indian citizens by calling them Chinese. And I am saying one more thing. I've heard so many stories of how badly behaved Chinese immigration officials are with Indian businessmen, Indian professionals traveling to China. Why? By doing so, China demeans its own civilization. Today, if the entire government of Xi Jinping wants to target an Indian woman because she's traveling through China, harasses her, then Mr. Xi Jinping, what are you doing? Is this your foreign policy pattern? Then India will never trust you. We cannot work with a nation that harasses our citizens. Global cooperation has to be on both sides. And if the Chinese government has decided to go a little hammer and tongs on India, we should not hesitate to hit back. In the present times, as we grow geopolitically, our success will be determined not by shaking hands, but by pulling back when needed. The Chinese must understand the people of India are watching. And this position of theirs, their decision to trouble an individual Indian citizen, to harass an Indian woman, clearly on the instructions of Beijing, is not uncomfortable for us. It is unacceptable for the world's most populous nation.